Hello, folks. Welcome to this live webinar with me, Professor Heather Austin. Today, we have some massive action-packed steps for you guys today. So you are going to want to stick around for all the amazing steps that we have planned. So let me just know if you can hear me, if audio is coming through okay, and all that good stuff. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up button down below. Also, type into the chat where you are joining us from. We are going to be covering so many amazing steps. In fact, let me just tell you, this is probably by far the most action-packed webinar I think I've put together in a really long time. And if you've ever been to my webinars, you'll know that that means this webinar is going to be so action-packed. So I can see all of you guys jumping in. I know a lot of you came in super early. So happy to see you. I see Joan is here. Hello from Providence. And I'm not going to be able to welcome everyone in, but I can see you. I love to see the chat moving. Donna, hello Donna from Florida. We have Danielle here. We have Troy here. We have Jill. We have Brandon. Hello Brandon. So happy to have you. We have Jill. We have Joe, Michelle. Oh my gosh. I love seeing you guys here. Let me know where you're joining us from, especially if you're watching this on a replay, which by the way, this will be available for a couple days for you guys to watch on the replay. So make sure you watch the replay before it ends. And if you're watching replay, let me know where you're joining us from. Again, hit the thumbs up button. If you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, which is where this webinar is broadcasting live, make sure you do that right away. So I am going to jump right into the topics that I have for you today. Let me just tell you, Tori's in the chat. She is my wonderful assistant. She's going to be moderating the chat, making sure you guys are nice, which most of the time you guys are amazing. So we have no complaints about that. And she's also going to be getting your questions in front of me. So if you have any questions specifically about LinkedIn, since this is what this webinar or this live stream is about, make sure you get that into the chat, okay? Now, I'm going to just get started right away because I have so much information to share with you. You are not going to want to miss a thing. Again, if you can, make sure you take notes, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Today, we are specifically talking about the 5-step system to build an all-star LinkedIn profile that increases your salary, okay? Who doesn't want to be getting paid more? So I'm going to be walking you through the 5 steps on how to do that. So what I want to know, a lot of you already told me where you're joining us from. What do you want to get out of today's training? So I would love to know, what do you want to get out of today's training? And while you're typing that in, what is your ideal job title? Okay, so your ideal job title and what do you hope to get out of today's training? So while you're typing that in, let me tell you a little bit about me. If you don't know who I am, my name is Heather Austin. I'm a career strategy expert. Back in 2017, I was in a position that I loved, but there was a lot of uneasiness happening. There was a lot of resignations. There were a lot of layoffs happening. And there was a lot of, and I'm sure some of you can relate to this, where I just didn't feel valued and appreciated for the work that I was doing. So I knew that it was time for me to move on, but I also knew that it was time for me to start learning a little tool called LinkedIn, if I wanted to get to where I wanted to go. Now, at first, I was super overwhelmed. I was super confused with the platform. I was like, what is this thing? Who uses this? How do I even connect with people? I didn't want to look like I was desperate, or I didn't want it to be awkward. I just had no idea what to do. So I went to work learning everything I could about LinkedIn. Now, let me share with you guys what happened as I started learning the platform and putting into practice what I'm going to teach you here today. Within 1 week, I started appearing in almost 900 searches. So that means people were going out and searching someone that did what I do. Okay. So that means I was able to show up in searches. The other thing that started happening is I started getting almost 5,000 profile views a week. So that can contribute again to the search, but it also can contribute to how I'm working on LinkedIn and how I'm networking. So I started out with 50 connections. I now have close to 15,000 connections. And let me tell you the cool thing. I'm not the only one that has put all this great stuff into practice. I want you to actually meet a couple people. So here is a message that Jess popped in just specifically about today's webinar. She said, this webinar was spot on. She said, P.S. from the time she submitted her job application to the time she received her job offer, it was 13 days. She goes on to say, being your authentic self, and branding, which we're going to talk about in this workshop today, in your LinkedIn profile is key. Okay. Now let me introduce you to Allison. So she says, I watched the workshop yesterday. So often webinars are really just fluff before the sales pitch, but yours was totally different. I learned so much and I was actually excited to make changes to my LinkedIn profile. Now here's what happened with Kimberly. Kimberly, actually, I put out a challenge and I said, I want you guys to start interacting on LinkedIn. She says, my connections have grown in the last 2 days. I started liking and commenting on posts. She says, yesterday, I even wrote my very first post ever. Okay. Here's what happened with Cheryl Ann. She says, I wanted to let you know that your great advice worked. She says, see my LinkedIn profile views below. So she actually started to get 59 profile views in a week. She goes on to say that I received a job offer for the same job I had applied hundreds of times to. She says, I was interviewed 4 times. I got the job offer making much more than before, and it's completely remote work from home. She says, I got more money and more freedom in one swoop. So this is my goal for you as you guys are attending this workshop and as you are watching and learning everything that we're going to share with you today. So before I get into all the amazing tips, I want you to put your phone on Do Not Disturb. I do have mine on silent. Close all unnecessary tabs that you have. Grab your favorite pencil or your favorite pen and a notepad, or if you like to take notes on your computer, that's fine as well. You are going to want to take notes because I'm a professor, you guys. I teach. I love teaching. I pour everything into my lectures and my content. This is a good one. This is not one that you're going to want to miss. Now, at the very end, I have a very special offer for you. You have to stick around to learn all about the special offer, where you can get a complimentary career portfolio audit. So when I say career portfolio, I mean your resume, your cover letter, and your LinkedIn profile. Okay. I want to audit all of those and make sure you are moving in the right direction in terms of your job search and landing those offers, making more than you expected. So let me ask you this. If this sounds like you, and most of you, I can see in the chat that this is probably what most of you feel. Does this sound like you? You're not sure how to navigate LinkedIn or even what to do with your account. Or maybe LinkedIn seems very complex and you wish it was more user-friendly. Maybe you're uncertain of how to make a better LinkedIn profile. Okay. You could have had your profile for a while and you're just like, what do I do with this now? You want to sell your skills and your experience, but you're uncomfortable writing about yourself. Or maybe you're just not sure who you should and shouldn't connect with. Okay. You want to make meaningful, high quality connections without all the spam. Now, in the chat, I have another thing to ask you guys. And by the way, I ask for your participation quite a bit in these live lectures. So make sure you're popping into the chat. I can see all the amazing comments coming in. So I'm going to ask you on 1 to 4. Which one are you, or why are you here today? Okay, is it because you want to use LinkedIn as a job search tool? Give me a 1 if that sounds like you. Is it number 2 because you want to develop stronger relationships on LinkedIn? Maybe you just want to start connecting and developing relationships with people in your industry. Is it number 3 because you want to become a thought leader and LinkedIn seems like a logical tool to get you there? Or is it number 4, you just want a better LinkedIn profile, okay? So type a 1, 2, a 3, or a 4 in the chat. And by the way, pop questions in. If you guys have questions, Tori's going to be getting them in front of me so that I can get those answered toward the end. We are going to cover a lot. So hopefully I can answer some of them while I'm lecturing here today. Anka, I'm so happy to see you here. You said, I think I have a pretty good LinkedIn profile, but I'm sure I can do better. Yes, you're going to learn a lot of key takeaways here today. Justin says, I own my own handyman company. I love it. I'm just using LinkedIn to promote my services and get more jobs. So smart, Justin. I love that you're turning to LinkedIn for that. Gail says, specifically seeking remote work from home positions. And by the way, you guys, remote positions are on an all-time rise right now. So we'll talk more about that as we go throughout this workshop. I'm seeing a lot of 1s. You want to use LinkedIn as a job search tool. I'm seeing some 1s and 3s. Awesome. 1, 2, and 3. Let's see. 1s, Kenya says 2 and 4. Tanya said, what did you say, Tanya? Your comment just scrolled past me. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Joan says 1 and 4 also want to avoid getting spam offers. Oh my goodness. Yes. This is one of those things with the use of LinkedIn, which is great, we're also going to see a lot more junk mail or a lot more spam or a lot more stuff that we don't want to see come through because it's such a popular resource. Okay, let's jump into the solid steps. You guys have your pens ready, your pencils, your notes, all that good stuff. Make sure you get those in. Also, Tori's popping into the chat our link to our Facebook, our free Facebook group. We have a free Facebook group, such an amazing community. In fact, by the way, if any of you guys are in the Career Club already on Facebook, just type club into the chat so I can see how many of you are here that are a member of that group. I think we have, Tori, I want to say it was like 12 or 14,000 members. I can't remember. But by the way, the conversations that are happening in that group right now are so amazing. You can pop a question in. We have recruiters, we have career coaches, we have experts, we have other job seekers. We have so many amazing people jumping in and giving you feedback on your job search questions. So if you have not yet requested to join that group, jump in and do it. Positive conversations happening all the time in there. It is not a junky group. We keep it clean and we keep it positive. So awesome. I'm seeing a lot of great people typing club. Awesome, you guys. Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to cover really quick today. So we're going to talk about how to create a marketable LinkedIn profile, even if you're making a career transition. We're also going to talk about how to write a standout about section that captures your strengths and achievements. We're going to talk about how to build meaningful relationships and network on LinkedIn without seeming too forward, okay? We're then going to cover how to post engaging content that puts you at the forefront of your industry. And we're going to talk about how to get recruiters and hiring managers to come to you. So you guys, this is action-packed. People pay for workshops like this. This is how good this workshop is. We also have live LinkedIn profile reviews at the end. So get geared up for those. We had, Tori, I don't even know how many people. I think this was more than our resume review show that we did. We had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of LinkedIn profiles come through the door for submission. We had the hardest time selecting which ones we wanted to review, but we will be reviewing a couple of those at the end just to show you guys like what you can be doing better. Maybe you could change this. Maybe this is working on your profile. So tune in for all that. Now, my next question in the chat, what is your biggest challenge using LinkedIn? So you kind of told me why you're here today and what you're hoping to get out of the training. What is your biggest challenge when it comes to LinkedIn? Okay, type that into the chat. And while you're typing that in, we are going to start with step one. So step one is how to create a marketable LinkedIn profile. So I have this I call this, I like to call it I invented this, but I know I didn't, but this is something that I always review with all my clients and all my students, the 7 parts of your LinkedIn profile that must be optimized. So if you want a marketable LinkedIn profile, you want to increase your salary, you want better job opportunities, you have to optimize your profile. So I'm going to go through 7 parts with you really quickly. So of course, the first part is your profile photo. So I know I talk about this all the time, but I want to see your profile photo as professional. I want to see it as industry specific. I want to see you smiling. I want it to be a high quality photo and no selfies. Okay. So you'll notice this slide is an example of where your profile photo is going to show up on LinkedIn. So of course, the one on the left, this is if I was editing my LinkedIn profile. The other smaller image to the right, that's going to be my news feed. And then the other section would be if you start a news post, okay? Or like if you post something in the news feed. So again, it's got to be, your LinkedIn profile photo has to be uploaded. Now I will, if we have time today, I want to go into some settings on my profile to show you, not everyone on LinkedIn, depending on how you set your settings, will be able to access your photo. I have a lot of people that reached out to me this last weekend and said, Heather, I don't want to include my photo. I have a very secure position. It could breach security with the company that I work with, and that's totally fine. There is a way to adjust it where either only LinkedIn users see your profile photo, only your first degree connections see your profile photo, so on and so forth. I have mine set to public. Anyone on the internet anywhere could see my photo, okay? Now, you might not be comfortable with that, and that's okay. I'll show you. Hopefully, we'll have time at the end, and I can jump into my profile to show you exactly what you can do to adjust that. I want to see kind of really quickly though, before I jump into the second part here is Jill says, finding new clients. This is your guys' biggest challenge. Finding new clients, knowing what to post and standing out as a job applicant. Oh, we're going to touch on each of those today, Jill. Jeff says, getting exposure. Yes, I love that. Joan says, knowing how to use it effectively. Let's see, someone mentioned understanding how to navigate LinkedIn, connecting with new connections. Yes. Okay. We are going to be touching on almost every single one of these challenges that you guys mentioned. Now really quickly with a profile photo, let me get to my next slide here. If you have a profile photo, you actually get 14 times more profile views and 9 times more connection requests. So just keep that in mind. Now, if I go back to my profile photo, I wanted just to make a note here. I'm wearing a t-shirt. Like this is a photo shoot I did. I had someone with a t-shirt on. I had a jacket on. This just happens to be the one that I uploaded. I don't even think this is the one on my profile right now, but in this example it is. As long as it's professional and you're facing the camera and you're smiling, I think you'll be okay. You don't have to go through a professional photo shoot either. You can use an iPhone or a mobile device to take your photo. Just make sure you're looking at the camera and you're smiling. Okay, the second part to optimizing your profile is your headline, okay? So there's so many ways we can write a headline, and I'm going to show you some examples here in just a second. The key takeaway when it comes to the headline, and by the way, are you guys taking notes? I hope so. The key takeaway when it comes to writing your headline is that you need it to be industry specific and keyword heavy. Okay. And what I mean keyword heavy is meaningful keywords that relate specifically to your industry. So notice my keywords are career strategy expert. That's like my number one title. Then what I've put in there is resume writing, LinkedIn training, and interview coaching. So I have hit on the word career, resume, LinkedIn, coach, interview, yada, yada, yada. Those are all the keywords in my industry. Now I could get even more specific than that if I wanted. Like let's say that I help specifically just people that are transitioning careers. I would have that in there, okay? So I'm going to show you guys a couple headline examples. Well, first of all, on this slide, again, this is where your headline pops up. So most everyone will see your headline wherever they are when they look at your profile on LinkedIn. That's why it's super important. Let me show you a couple of different examples though. So here's an example of 2 ways I could write a headline. Let's say I'm a senior graphic designer. Well, in this top example, I'm telling you that I'm a senior graphic designer and I'm giving you specific keywords from the job posting that if I'm a recruiter or if I'm hiring for that position, I'm going to be searching that someone has those keywords in their profile, okay? Or that they know those skills. If you haven't listed those skills on your profile, you're not going to be seen in searches for recruiters and hiring officials, okay? So in this situation, I'm saying logo and web design. I'm saying Adobe Creative Suite, Sketch, HTML5, and CSS3. These are very specific to someone that's a graphic designer. Now, the second example is let's say that I don't list those key skills, and instead I say something like specializing in logo design, web design, and brand strategy. That's okay too. So keep in mind, you can change this based on your specific industry, but the key that I want you to remember here is it needs to be keyword heavy, and it has to be items related to the position. Now, here's another example. Let's say I'm a director of public relations and marketing, okay? Well, notice in the first example, again, I'm listing more of those hard skills: copywriting, email marketing, SEO, and CRO. Those are something that a recruiter would actually search for, okay? Or I could say raising visibility and brand awareness. Now, the second example is a little bit more geared to the human reader, okay, not necessarily like a search engine. So you decide what works best for you in your industry and how you want to portray yourself. But these are just a couple of examples of how you can do that. Okay, next section, you guys, is the about section. So I'm just taking you, if you have your profile pulled up, I'm taking you from the top to the bottom, okay, of what you need to work on. So even if you have 10 minutes today, work on these 7 things, okay? Just take a few minutes to work on these 7 things today. So the third thing is your about section. So this again is the most overlooked section on LinkedIn. Keep in mind when it comes to your about section, you can write in first person format. Like when I first started using LinkedIn, you would write like, I would write, Heather Austin is a dynamic career strategy expert. Like it was really weird, but you would say, I am, or I do this, or this is me, or my, like you can put that into your LinkedIn summary or your about section. You don't write your resume that way. No, you never want to have I, me, or my in your resume, but in LinkedIn, that's okay. Now, this is a screenshot of my about section. You'll notice that I have a few different paragraphs. I have some bullet points about maybe some of my greatest accomplishments or some of the things that I offer. And then notice I'm creating headlines by capitalizing things. So I'm going to show you how I want you to do it in just a second here. But you'll notice, and we're going to talk all about the about section soon in another step, believe it or not. Okay, the next thing that you need to look at is your experience section. So that's, of course, going to fall under your about section. This is where it's very similar to your resume. I have a personal preference where I like to put paragraphs and not bullet points. Bullet points are okay. You can use bullet points, but I like paragraphs. And the main key to take away here is that they need to be results-driven achievement statements. Okay. So if you're telling us what you've done with that company or for that company, tell us what the result was. Okay. If that makes sense. Okay, next section after that is your education. So you'll notice in my instance, I have my graduate and then my undergraduate degree listed. If you don't have a formal education or if you haven't completed school yet and you have some education, I would still list it. You're not going to have a graduation date, but there's other places too on LinkedIn. We're not going to dive into that today necessarily, but where you can use training and like certifications and other things to balance out an education section. Okay, another really important part again is the skills section. So skills is going to fall under your education. With the skills section, I want you to think about the top 3 skills that you want to be known for. I want those to be listed in the top of your profile on your skills section, and then add a couple other skills in from there. Now, LinkedIn lets you add 50 skills. I don't recommend adding all 50 because it waters down your profile, okay? For example, in my skills list, I have career strategist, LinkedIn training, and resume writing. Now, I have other things in there too, like higher education, career coaching. I don't even know what else I have in there. Leadership. I have a lot of other things. The top 3 are going to be the most important because that's what LinkedIn is going to push out to your connections to say, hey, Sally Sue says that she knows LinkedIn training. Can you endorse her for this? And then you click yes, and they ask you, how do you know Sally Sue? And yada, yada, yada. And you don't always have to go through, you can exit out of how you know that person, or how you worked with them. But those are the most important skills. And then I want you to layer in. So it says see all 30 skills. I have 33 skills listed. I could even do less. I'm okay with less. I don't think you need to use all 50 skills because chances of someone coming in and endorsing you for all 50 is really slim. And it's just taking up space and it's distracting from the real skill set. The last part again is recommendations. So again, these 7 sections are what you need to focus on inside your LinkedIn profile. Recommendations are such a big part of LinkedIn. It shows your authority in the industry. It shows that you understand or that other people enjoy working with you, that they're basically endorsing you for your work that you've done. So again, make sure you get as many recommendations as you can. That's a whole nother topic too that we could jump into. But when it comes to recommendations, I'll mention this really quick. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask someone to recommend you. Like, hey, can you write a recommendation for me? And don't be afraid to say to them, hey, I drafted something for you that will make it really easy for you to write this recommendation. Feel free to change it or do whatever. When I was a professor full time, I had students coming to me all the time. Can you write a letter of recommendation? I'm applying to this college or this program or this job or blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what? I have 10 requests today. if you write the letter for me, telling me what you want me to talk about in the letter and drafting it for me, that's going to make my job so much easier. And I'm much more likely to get that recommendation in there for you. So don't be afraid to do that. Now, I have a question for you. Which section, so of the sections that I just mentioned, which section on your profile needs the most work? Pop that into the chat. And by the way, you guys, we still have LinkedIn profile reviews to do. And I also have, I'm going to show you guys where you can get access to a complimentary career portfolio audit. And I have a special offer for you at the very end for World Class Career Academy, which is our signature group coaching, online group coaching program. So I'll share more about that in just a second. Okay, let me see where you guys are in terms of a lot of good questions. I'm gonna hopefully get to most of those at the end. Someone did ask, how do you make your profile picture industry specific? Any tips? That's a good question. So when it comes to that, I mean, most of the time we are going to have like a professional shirt, maybe a suit coat, a jacket. It's almost like how professional do you want to be? You could be dressed to the nines in a profile photo and do it that way. Or in my case, I'm actually just wearing a t-shirt. I'm not recommending you to do that. If I was going out and I was applying for positions, I would at least have like a suit coat on over my t-shirt or a jacket. And Liberty asked, what do you mean by industry specific? So industry specific is, let's say I'm in the nursing field compared to the accounting field, compared to, like another industry. Like you're just looking at what is your industry and what are most people dressing like in your industry? Good questions, you guys. Okay, let's see who needs what. I see a lot of about sections. Yes, this one's probably the most challenging. Let's see. Someone says skills, purple Gatorade. I love that. It says everything. I am starting all over again. Oh, geez. And you know what? Work on it a couple minutes a day. Joan says all of the above, but working on them. Denise says my about section needs the most work. Let's see. Someone says recommendations, experience and recommendations, the about section, all. Yes. Don't get discouraged, you guys. I know that it can seem very overwhelming. If you spend just a few minutes every day, that probably is going to be your biggest, help you move the needle forward fastest, is just optimizing that. I'll tell you a quick story. I had a client who he ended up updating his headline. Okay. I don't even know if he even ended up updating his about section. He ended up updating his headline, and within like a couple of hours, he started getting recruiters and hiring managers and people reaching out to him just by making those few changes. So what that tells me is that this is how instantaneous it is. That's how many people are searching for really good talent right now, that you could make the change now and start receiving callbacks now. So if you guys remember the story about Jess that I shared earlier, she said from the time that she applied to the job offer, it was 13 days. Okay. I think she said 13 days. That's how quick this happens when you make these little changes, okay? Because companies right now are hiring like crazy. They want good talent. They want you in there. They just need to be able to find you easily. Make their job easier by optimizing your profile. Okay, awesome. Okay, let's talk about step number 2, how to write a standout about section. So the about section, most of you guys said this was your most challenging part. So I'm going to share a couple of slides on this section. Take really good notes here, because yes, this is probably besides your headline and your profile photo, this is probably by far the most important section. So let me share with you guys a couple tips here when it comes to writing the section. It needs to be an easy to read snapshot. So I review a lot of LinkedIn profiles, and some of them I'll see are like paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of information. And then I'm overwhelmed and I'm like, oh, I don't want to read through all this stuff. Okay. I want it to be like easy, digestible paragraphs, just a couple, not anything crazy, that gives me kind of like a snapshot of who you are. Okay. We want to keep it short and to the point. The next thing that I want you to think about is just using 2 to 3 paragraphs, okay? If you wanted to keep to 2, that's totally fine. After the 2 paragraphs, I'll show you what I want you to do after that. But 2 to 3, keep it short. Don't have like a big, huge paragraph and then another big, huge. I'm talking maybe 4 sentences in each paragraph. 4 to 5 would be kind of pushing it, but 4 to 5, okay? After your paragraphs, I want to see some sort of career highlight section. So this is where you will type the word career highlights, and then I want to see some bullet points that highlight your greatest moments in your career. Okay, it's as easy as that. You could even take it from your resume. Okay, then after that, I want to see an expertise section. So you're going to write in capital letters, expertise. And then that's where you're going to write some of those hard and soft skills that you have that a hiring official is going to be looking for inside of their search engine to find you. Okay. Now, after that, I want you to include some sort of call to action. You could say something like, hey, looking for these types of opportunities, would love to connect with you. Email me here, whatever that might be, like getting them to take action to actually get in touch with you. And then after that, after that, I want to see headers and bullet points. So again, I said, career highlights is going to be some sort of header with bullet points under. Expertise is going to be some sort of header. And I'll show you an exact example of that. And then most importantly, you guys, this is the most important part, is show your character and personality. So with my academy students, I teach them how to, in fact, I include a template that they can type in their own information. I want to see at the very end of your section, I want to see something about, hey, on my free time, I enjoy horseback riding and skydiving, or skiing and horseback riding, or whatever it might be. Like, add some personality and character to your about section. Now let's go through a quick example. So I'm going to use a digital marketer as my example. Okay. So let me just show you really quickly. This is paragraph 1. So I'm going to say digital marketing is my passion. Okay. So let's say for you, you're an accountant. You could say accounting is my passion. Whatever it is that you are, that is your passion. Okay. I'm a driven digital marketing specialist, eager to yada, yada, yada. I'm a driven accountant, eager to such and such. So all you're doing here is you're taking your field and you're now applying it into this little example that I have. Notice that it goes on to say, I work closely with copywriters, photographers, web designers. As an accountant, and I'm just throwing this out there, I work closely with business owners, whatever, okay, whoever you work closely with. So again, that's going to be paragraph 1. You're going to jump into paragraph 2, and this is where you're actually going to talk more about your experience in terms of what it is that makes you so accomplished in the area. And let's say you're switching careers. Let's say you don't have all that experience. That's where you're going to talk about it right here. Okay. You're going to talk about, why are you switching careers? What made you switch? Because you're telling us you're passionate about this thing in the beginning, but now I see that you're switching. So why are you switching? Okay. Mention your commitment to solving some of the industry's largest pain points, or if you have your eye on a specific company, mention that here. Okay. And then of course, make sure you round this off with personality. So this is what I was telling you before. In my free time, I enjoy horseback riding and epic snow skiing. Okay. So again, add something that gives them an idea of who you are. This is much less stuffier than a resume. Okay. Let me show you what I mean by career highlights. After those 2 paragraphs, I have professional career highlights. You can have career highlights. You can have whatever you want, but notice I'm capitalizing it because it's allowing me to turn that into a headline. LinkedIn gives you no formatting options whatsoever in your about section. So you have to kind of invent the formatting options, which is you create a headline by just capitalizing that term. And then, of course, I just copied a symbol from the internet to create a bullet point, okay? Because LinkedIn doesn't allow you to even put those in unless you copy and paste them from somewhere else. This is what I mean by the expertise section. Expertise is going to be all capitalized, okay? And then you're going to give us some of those hard, and you could even put soft skills in here. Digital marketing, social media manager, copywriting, editing, yada, yada, yada. I think I might have spelled copywriting wrong in that example. That's hilarious. Anyway, brand development, advertising campaigns, pricing strategies, all that good stuff. So you take your industry and you put industry specific keywords in your expertise section. Now, let me show you what my profile looks like really quick, my about section. Notice I'm talking about my passion, what drives me. I'm talking about my greatest strength. I'm talking about some of my career highlights. In my case, because I'm a business owner, I'm sharing with you what I actually teach. I'm telling people where they can find me. So this would be for all those business owners that might be tuning in today to watch this. And then I give my expertise. Now, if you're a job seeker, you're going to have career highlights, have your bulleted points, and then end with expertise, okay? We don't want you to go on and on and on in the about section, even though you can, and you can write an entire novel. It overwhelms people. This day and age, we need information quick and fast, and you've got to present it to them in a way that allows them to read through that really fast and get an idea of who you are so that they want to bring you in for an interview, and at the end of the day, so that you can increase your salary, okay? Now, question for you. I want to know in the chat, what expertise can you add to your about section to make it stand out? So of the expertise that I listed for this digital marketer, okay, that's the example we used, what expertise can you add to your about section to make it stand out? And we're going to jump into step 3 in just a second. I told you guys this was going to be so packed full of information. We still have LinkedIn profile reviews to do, and I have a special offer for you for World Class Career Academy as well. So tune into that. Okay, let's jump into step 3. I know you guys are still typing into the chat what you want to add to your expertise section. Step number 3, how to build meaningful relationships, okay? And by the way, this is so that you don't seem forward or that it's not awkward. And I'm going to share some templates with you guys, and you can even screenshot them, and this is definitely going to help you. Here's the thing. When it comes to building meaningful relationships, this has got to be a priority, okay? This has got to be the number one priority after you've optimized your profile. This has got to be the thing that you are focused on just a couple minutes every single day, okay? So I'm going to share with you a couple steps that you can take to actually build those meaningful relationships. So the very first thing is, again, create a strong profile. So before you want to even start putting yourself out there, start connecting with recruiters and hiring managers and other people in your industry, make sure your profile is strong. So if your profile is not strong, go back to step 1 and work through those 7 sections, okay? The next thing is you want to nurture existing relationships. So this is where you're going to look at, hey, who do I already know personally, or I've met before that we're not even connected on LinkedIn? And you're going to start connecting with them first, okay? Choose like 5 people. In fact, that's my challenge. Choose 5 people you know that you're not already connected with that you think they might be on LinkedIn. Search them up on LinkedIn. Ask them to connect with you, okay? Mention something that you like about them. Mention, hey, we haven't talked in a while. Maybe they had a birthday or their kid had a birthday or something like that. You're going to be nurturing these existing relationships. Let me tell you why this step is so important. So if you've like dozed off and you zoned out, come back in, tune back into this part. The reason why this is so important is because these people that you're connecting with now, that you're developing, you're nurturing that relationship now, they are going to be the ones that potentially help you land that new opportunity in 1 week, in 2 weeks, in 1 month, in 2 months, whatever that might be. They are the ones that can help you get there. So you're just going back out to your people you know, which that's not scary, right? And you're just connecting with them. Now, the next part to this is developing new relationships. So this is where you're going to now say, hey, I want to go out and see in the world who else does what I'm doing or who else does what I want to do. And I'm going to connect with them. Okay. And let me show you a couple of screenshots because this is really going to show you how easy this is. You're going to jump over to LinkedIn. You're going to go to the search bar. You're going to search for people. You're going to type in the job title. In this example, I have product manager. If I want to narrow my product manager results down, because by the way, you're probably going to get millions and millions of people. You don't want to go be overwhelmed trying to connect with all millions of those people. You're going to jump into the all filters section. From there, you're going to say, how much do I want to filter this? Okay. And by the way, if you have LinkedIn Premium, this allows you to filter it even more. Okay. This is just a screenshot of a non-LinkedIn Premium account. So I can filter that by, excuse me, location. I can filter it by maybe schools that they went to. I could filter it by current companies that they went to, that they work at. I could do all sorts of filters. And now I can take that list of 1 million and maybe turn it into 20. And then that's where I'm going to start. Okay. Another slide I want to show you really quick to connect with people is, let's say I want to work for Amazon. Okay. And this is just an example I put out. I'm not saying you want to work for Amazon, but let's say you do. I go to the company homepage, I click people, and I go in and I actually connect with people there. Okay. It could be hiring officials. It could be people with certain job titles. Like, there's so many avenues that you can explore when it comes to connecting. Now, I want to share with you guys really quickly, I want to share with you some templates that you can use. Okay. So this template is a connection request template. So take a screenshot of this. This is if you're like, okay, I want to start getting out there and I really want to start connecting with people. If you haven't already done this or you haven't seen this before, you're going to be like, hi there, Sally. I noticed that like me, you such and such. So you could say, I noticed that like me, you're also in the accounting field, or you're also in the nursing field, or whatever it might be. I also noticed that we share some of the same connections. And of course, if you don't share connections, don't put that part in there. And then, would you mind if we connect here on LinkedIn? Thanks. And then sign your name. So you're going to be putting this out every day if you have a couple minutes and just start connecting with people. And I'm saying copy and paste this same message, change the name. If there's something else in there that you want to mention that's not in the template already, then you can change that as well. Okay. Now, the next thing that I want you to think about is asking for an introduction. So let's say that you have a friend that knows someone that works for Amazon or Google or Facebook, Meta, or whatever, another company that you want to work for. You're going to ask them, hey, can you introduce me to Sally? She works for Amazon, and I would really love to learn more about the interview process with that company, such and such. Okay. So that's why it's so important to you guys that you start developing these connections so that later on, you've kind of built this web of connections and you can reach out to whoever you want to put you in touch with another person. Now, let me share with you really quickly a template for this, okay? So this one is, hey, Bob, I noticed Sally Sue is one of your connections on LinkedIn. Would you mind introducing us? I would love to connect with her about a potential position available in her organization. I appreciate your time, okay? Like, easy as that. So that's 2 templates that you guys should be putting into effect like immediately, okay? I'll give you a couple seconds to screenshot this page. And then I have another question for you guys before we jump into step number 4. Okay, type yes in the comments if networking is doable for you. So if you think, yes, I can do this. This sounds doable. I know exactly what I'm going to do. And maybe not exactly, but let's just like at least get in and start doing something. Type yes in the chat if networking seems doable for you. Okay, David had a really good comment. Do you recommend LinkedIn Premium? I don't use LinkedIn Premium. I think there are some amazing features to it. If it fits within your budget, it's not a bad thing to have. They give you extra search options. You get to see more insight into people that have applied for positions. Where you stand in terms of like the ranking. You also get access to LinkedIn Learning, which is, it's, very similar. Well, it's not similar to this, but it's people like me going out on LinkedIn and teaching content. Okay. It's industry experts. So there, it does have its pros. I don't use it because I don't need it. But that's to say you have to decide on how that would be for you. Let's see. Matt asked a question. If you wanted to raise money, so if I wanted to raise money, I could use the filter. I don't know what you mean by raise money. Oh, I think what you're meaning is like increase your salary, right? It depends on what version of LinkedIn you have. If I remember right, and tell me if I'm wrong for anyone that has LinkedIn Premium, you can sort or filter by salary or pay options if you wanted to. That's again if you're searching for a job though. Hello, Elizabeth. So happy you're here. You said, what about going to an organization? Whoops, your question just blasted past me. Let me see if I can find it. Where did it go? Oh, shoot. I don't even know. I was about to, let me see if Tori got that question on. Let me just see really quick. Shoot, I had your question and it totally like passed me, and I'm sure it was a really good one. Darn it, I can't find it. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of, in terms of, let's see, networking, I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Let's see. Oh, Matt asked another really good question. Is Udemy a good place for LinkedIn learning? Let me tell you guys, this workshop that's here today, this is the best, like quickest way to learn about LinkedIn in a quick, just like, well, we're probably going to end up being online together for quite a while today, but, this is the exact stuff. If I was going to Udemy or I was presenting this on LinkedIn Learning, I would present it in a lecture format similar to this. But Udemy does have some really good options too. They're a little bit cheaper, I think. I'm not sure though, Matt. You'd have to look into that one. Oh my gosh, so many good questions. I wish I could just sit and answer questions all day. Okay, let's jump into step number 4, how to post engaging content. So this is one of the things, you guys, that I promise you, once you start posting this, it's going to put you at the forefront of your industry. So I'm going to give you exact examples from people like you that are posting content, okay? Now keep in mind, before I share these examples, only 3 million users share content weekly on LinkedIn. There are over 800 million users on the platform. Okay. So of those 800 million users, only 3 million of them share content. So if you were to post something, the chances of it being seen by your network is pretty high. Okay. So it's one of the best places that you can go to become a thought leader. So let me share with you what you can post. Inspirational messages, okay? Let's say that you had a fun quote or an inspiring quote that you wanted to share with others. You could share that in the newsfeed. You could say what it meant to you, and then you could ask people like, what does this mean to you? Like, does this resonate with you? Do you have an interesting quote? And then you get people commenting and liking and sharing your post, okay? Another thing that you can pop into the newsfeed is anything industry related about your field, industry related news and research. So let me show you a couple of examples. I actually just pulled these off of LinkedIn this weekend. I'm not even connected with these people, but I just went to browse to see like, hey, what are people sharing in their industry, right? Here's this guy, Peter, who he decided he read this article, Top Tech Predictions for 2022. He wrote a little sentence about it and shared it to his LinkedIn page. Here's another example of someone another article, ENR recognizes outstanding projects in nationwide competition. She posted this and she's sharing it to her network. Okay. Now keep in mind, like, you don't have to go and reinvent the wheel and write your own articles and all that good stuff. You can just find an article that interests you and you can reshare it in your newsfeed and you can talk about it to your people, to your network. Another thing you can do is longer form article or newsletter. Okay. Now I want to share with you, this is going to be something I feel like you've got to kind of gear yourself up for. However, it does have the potential to reach so many people. So I would recommend, if you have the time and the energy and you want to really become a thought leader, to post an article. It's so dang easy. LinkedIn makes it so easy to share an article. Let me show you really quickly a screen capture of if I was on my news feed and I clicked on a link that was like my post link, it right next to that, it says article. So I can click on the article tab and notice it says start your own newsletter. And let me tell you this, from what I've heard, when you start your own newsletter, which I don't have a newsletter on LinkedIn because I mainly post everything through YouTube and on my blog, they share that newsletter. I think your very first time you put the newsletter out, if I remember right, they post it to every single person in your network. So if you have like 200 people or even 50 people or 1,000, it's going to share it out to all of them. Like it sends them a message that says so-and-so just shared their first news article. I don't know the exact wording that they use, but you can add a headline, you can add a cover image if you want, and then notice it just says right here, add image or video for visual impact. It's so easy. So you can like share and then you click publish. If you want to create an article, I highly recommend doing that. The other thing that works really well is simple how-to or educational content. So anything that maybe you learned in the industry. Another thing is photo updates. So this is one that people love. So let me show you a couple of my photo updates. I shared a photo update a while, I think this was like a year or so back, the one on the left of me receiving my YouTube play button. And then this is another one. That was me when I was an academic dean. Nice. I feel like that picture, I look really like a baby in that picture. But I shared that, just kind of talking about today's workshop. So those posts work really well too. Don't feel like you have to do anything fancy. It could be just a casual. Both of those pictures are super casual, okay? And then, of course, the last thing is like lessons learned. This is one of the things that a lot of people like to hear. Like, hey, this is what I learned in my industry. This is the lesson I learned from it. Let me share with you guys, John Marty is one of my really close friends in the career space. And if you guys don't know him, follow him on LinkedIn. He is one of the LinkedIn top voice people. He's awesome. But the thing I love about his posts is they are very story based. So he tries to share a story about whatever it is. And he talks about the lesson that he's learned from that story. Like he started skateboarding again, and he talked about why that's so important. It was just a video. Notice these other two posts on the right side. These are just text-based posts. He's not even sharing an image. And notice the reach that he's getting with those posts. So don't feel like, you guys, that you have to have these profound posts that are just like going to rock everyone to their core. Like start small and build up to that. Okay. I want to show you this graphic really quick. So I got this graphic from influencemarketinghub.com. It's showing the best times to post on LinkedIn. So take a note of that. And if you have not posted and you want to start posting, notice some of the suggestions that they're making. And by the way, this is an Eastern Standard Time. So you'll have to look at that and see if that works into your schedule. Let me kind of see where you guys are in the chat in terms of any questions. Burton asks, how should you utilize the publishing option? So again, to me, what that question infers, Burton, is just the article and writing your article and then clicking publish. Let's see. Dr. Jerome says no video content not recommended. That's a good question. So I post, you guys, every week a mix of video. I will post video. I'll post just images. I'll post all sorts of things. It depends on the video. It depends on the format. It depends on a lot of other things. I like video because I'm a video person. I teach through video and I'm much better at that than I am typing. I wouldn't say that those posts get as much traction though. Like I could say the same thing in just a text-based post without the video and it reaches more people. So you kind of have to experiment. Awesome. Okay, I've got a question for you guys before we jump into step number 5. Then we're going to do a profile review, so stick around for those. And I also have a special offer for you for World Class Career Academy, so stick around for that as well. And by the way, this will replay for 3 days. So you have the option to watch this for 3 days and then it's gone. So make sure if you need to go back and revisit any of the topics. I know this is I told you guys at the beginning, this is one of like the most, what would you call this? Action-packed webinars I've done. And I do a lot of webinars. It's a lot of information, but you can kind of take it and digest it slowly and put into place some of these things. What type of content can you post today on LinkedIn? So I know some of you guys are really thinking about this. David mentioned video or no video. What type of content can you post on LinkedIn? Make sure you, or sorry, not David, Dr. Jerome. I don't know why I thought you were David. You look like a David based on your profile photo. Don't ask me why. So pop into the chat. What type of content can you post today on LinkedIn? While you guys are typing that in, I'm going to jump into step number 5. Okay, this is one of the questions that I got a lot when we were talking about this workshop. Is a lot of you mentioned that I just want recruiters to come to me. I'm sick of getting ghosted. I want them to come to me. I want them to present opportunities to me. I don't want to go out there and try and get found, right? I want them. I don't want to do all that hard work, okay? Which is totally legitimate, okay? Let me just see really quick where you guys are. I want to see what you're talking about in terms of what you want to post. Donna says industry related. Carlos says like a photograph of some sort. Matt said negotiations. Learning How says repost of something I've written, but now with new insight. I love that. That is so smart. Matt says real estate entrepreneur. Hello, Matt. So happy you're here. Viv says about my desired career. I love that. I am says a quote. I started by posting quotes. Okay. I was so scared. Like, I don't have anything to share. How am I going to get out there and post stuff? So I just found quotes I really liked and I shared those. Parag says text-based post. Judy says, sorry, Judy, your comment. The comments are going so fast that I miss them. Judy says, an inspirational quote. I love it. Industry related, inspirational quotes. So good. Awesome. Okay. Positive affirmations. I love that, Gail. So good. Denise says wellness impact or workplace productivity. Oh, that's good too. Okay, let's talk about really quickly how to get recruiters and hiring managers to come to you. Let me just refresh your memory. The 7 profile things those need to be optimized. Okay, that's first and foremost. Let's talk about now how to stop getting ghosted. Okay, the first thing I want you to really think about, and by the way, I did share that, build a strong profile. I want you to think about this. Recruiters are super busy. So I have a lot of friends. I even have family members that are recruiters for top companies. They are working with hundreds of clients, sometimes at one time, or dozens of clients at one time. They are trying to feed the clients to where they need to go. They're trying to find the talent to meet the demand. They're sometimes overloaded themselves and they don't always have time to get back to you. So don't take it personal, okay? That's the first thing that I wanted to share. But of course, build a strong profile. So that is going to get them coming back to you time and time again, okay? The next thing is follow up with a purpose. So when you're following up with them, whether it's like they're going to schedule an interview or you've already had the interview or whatever that might be, you're going to thank them. You're going to remind them of your qualifications and why you are so great. So don't just follow up to follow up. Give some purpose and meaning to that follow up, okay? The next thing is be proactive, okay? You need to show initiative when it comes to the job search. You don't want to appear passive, okay? That's one of the last things that you want to do is appear passive. So let's say, for example, you're in the interview process and the recruiter asks you to complete some sort of assessment. Don't wait and let's say they say, oh, you have 2 weeks to complete this. Don't wait 2 weeks. Get that assessment done as soon as they tell you need to do the assessment. Or if they want your references, get those references into them as soon as they ask you. So again, we're being proactive and we're showing initiative. The next thing is engage in the news feed. So if you guys remember the ladies that I shared with you, or my people that have watched this workshop before, said, hey, I started posting and liking and sharing and yada, yada, yada. And I increased my connections. That's what you're going to do. Go to the news feed, find some, just look at the first post that pops up, comment and like it. Okay. It's as easy as that. And you can even find specific recruiters or hiring officials or whoever, and you can start posting on their posts. Okay. And then don't wait around. So the last thing I want you to do is keep thinking about, oh, I didn't hear back from that recruiter. Oh, I didn't hear back. Like, you're not going to be waiting for them. You're going to do your part and you're going to do everything you can. And then you're going to keep other options open. Okay. So you're going to keep looking at what else is out there. What else can I be doing? Who else can I connect with? You always want to keep the ball moving forward with a couple options at a time, as many as you can juggle. Okay. Maybe it's 3, maybe it's 4, maybe it's 5, maybe it's only 2. You need to determine what works best for you. Okay. Really quickly, you guys, we covered so many things today. I got to tell you really quickly, we're going to jump into profile reviews. But what I want to know is, what is your biggest takeaway so far? So of the 5 steps that we covered, if you guys can remember back to that, hopefully you have some notes. I've had some people send me their notes after these workshops, and it's like pages and pages of notes, which I'm a note taker, so I totally get that. Look through your notes, think about what we talked about today. What is your biggest takeaway so far in today's workshop? So type that into the chat. While you're typing that in, let me remind you why you're probably here today. And I asked a lot of you, and we received hundreds and hundreds of messages for people that were coming to this workshop, why they wanted to be here. So some of you mentioned that you want the right company and the right recruiters to reach out to you. Okay. You kind of wanted to sift through all that spam. You want to attract the right or higher quality career opportunities. Some of you even mentioned that you want to confidently make new connections with folks in your industry without feeling awkward. Some of you mentioned that you want to become a thought leader, that sounds intriguing to you, that you want to create engaging content, which we talked a little bit about that, and that you want to spark conversation. More importantly, a lot of you mentioned that you want life-changing positions that allow you to have a better work-life balance, that allow you to do the things that you love, spend more time doing the things you love, spending more time with the people that you love. And let's face it, a lot has changed in the job market the last couple of years, and most of us are reevaluating our career options. Now, everything that I've shared with you today, this is not just a good idea or a theory, okay? These are proven concepts that my clients and my students and my workshop attendees have used to find work they love, to increase their salary, to find things, to work in industries that allow them to have more time, freedom, and flexibility. So I have another question for you. How would you like the exact trainings, the templates, the resources, the instructions for every single part of the job search process? So we're talking about advanced interview techniques and templates, resume and cover letter templates and trainings, in-depth LinkedIn profile templates and trainings. So if you guys thought what I shared today was in-depth, wait until I show you what else there is to take part of. All the strategies that my clients and my students have used to do things like land a job offer making 2 times their income, land multiple job offers at one time, and even land job offers at Fortune 500 companies. So we're talking about Amazon, Facebook, well now Meta, Disney, JP Morgan, General Electric. I want to invite you guys to join me inside of World Class Career Academy. If you have not yet heard about World Class Career Academy, it's an exclusive group coaching, online training system, template library, private community, and peer accountability group. And more importantly, World Class Career Academy is a complete solution to help you negotiate a life-changing job offer with a company that aligns with your career goals and aspirations. And notice, you guys, I underlined life-changing job offer because that's exactly what is happening with our Academy students, okay? Let me share with you guys what happened with Daniela. So she actually landed 6 interview requests in 2 days and received 2 job offers. So she said, on Saturday, I applied to 5 different positions. By Monday at lunchtime, and keep in mind, she applied on a weekend. She said, by Monday at lunchtime, I had 6 interview requests. 2 of them she turned down, 4 I interviewed with, and 2 made me job offers. She said, I used all of your tips right up to the negotiating pay. I'm forever grateful and absolutely love my new job. Here's what happened with Brandon. He was actually transitioning out of the military. So he was in the Navy for 20 years. He said, I needed a civilian outlook on my career on how to sell my brand. Okay. He said, I filled out the templates you provided and took all your tips for LinkedIn. Within 2 weeks, I started getting callbacks for interviews that ultimately led to an offer close to what I was making in the military. Here's what happened with Larry. So Larry actually received a job offer for $17,000 more than he was expecting. He says, I was offered that position for substantially more. He goes, the funny thing is I didn't have to do any negotiating. He said, I also had 2 other phone interviews earlier today, and I feel they went extremely well. So by the way, you guys, these people have options, okay? They're looking at options. They're not just stuck with one job offer and whatnot. They have options for multiple job offers. So let me share with you really quickly what's inside of the Academy so you understand what the program entails. So the first course that we have in there is Dream Job Jumpstart. This is job search techniques to help you pinpoint positions that align with your career goals and aspirations. So this is where we take you through a self-discovery and a self-assessment exercise to help you determine what positions you should apply for. So we get some Academy students that come in and they're like, Heather, I'm so good at X, Y, Z, and A, B, and C. I don't even know what position I should apply for. Like I could do a lot of different things. This is where we take you through, hey, you know what? We don't want you to do everything. We don't want you to go out there and apply for 20 different jobs that might not meet you, who you are as a person. We want you to apply for the jobs that are really going to align with who you are. So we take you through an exercise and an entire course dedicated to that. The other course inside of World Class Career Academy is Resume Reinvented. So this is an exclusive resume writing course dedicated to help you build a resume that shows your value and your skills, your talents, and your abilities, okay? And by the way, this includes the latest resume writing trends. If you guys didn't see the resume writing video I released last week, it was pretty detailed, and we go through like all of that and more inside of the Academy on how to write a standout resume. We talk about the structure, the formatting, all that good stuff, and templates. There's templates for almost every single situation you might be in. A new graduate, switching industries, all that good stuff. The other course inside of World Class Career Academy is Compelling Cover Letter. So this is actually 5 bonus video lessons where you'll learn how to use your cover letter as a mini sales presentation, okay? I always say that a good resume doesn't go far without a compelling cover letter, right? So again, this is one of the things that we teach you inside of the Academy. Now, if you're interviewing and you're like, I'm going on interviews and I am like getting stuff done, interview intelligence is also included inside the Academy. This is where you're going to learn how to interview with confidence and clarity. You'll get the skills that you need to properly sell yourself and land your dream job offer. This is where we go through like the most popular interview questions that are asked in the market today. We go through behavioral-based interview questions. We go through body language in an interview. We go through how to introduce yourself in an interview. We go through follow-up techniques. So after the interview, what are you supposed to do? Like, what do you say to your recruiter or your hiring official? Maybe it's your 3rd interview. What do you do after that? So we take you step by step through all that. And we also do salary negotiation inside of Interview Intelligence because, again, that's where we want you making more, working in a position that you love. So we take you through all of that. So not just those courses, but you also have actionable printable workbooks, checklists, guides to keep you on track. You have instant access to a members-only community. So this is just Career Academy students. You get to plug into a network of like-minded professionals, ask questions, get feedback, share your wins and build relationships. You also get lifetime access to the course, okay? So the material, the ability to complete the course anywhere, anytime, all that good stuff. Now, I have bonuses for you guys. If you've ever seen one of my webinars, you know that I love bonuses. So inside of World Class Career Academy, if you enroll during the special enrollment period, you also get access to LinkedIn Profile Perfection. So if you guys thought what I went through today was good, inside of LinkedIn Profile Perfection, I go through these items that I shared with you in even more detail. And by the way, we've updated most of the lessons inside of LinkedIn Profile Perfection to show you what LinkedIn looks like now today because they make changes all the time. So you also have access to that. You also have access to the Career Advancement Toolkit. So if you don't already have this is a one-of-a-kind resource with guides, instructions, checklists to help you keep on track with your job search. So this is the ultimate icing on the top, our bonus career advancement toolkit. And by the way, if you guys do have the toolkit already, I want you to send me an email because Tori and I and Catherine, if you guys haven't met Catherine, she's our resident career coach, resume writer, all that good stuff. She's one of my team members that helped me in our academy calls. We have a special coupon code for you where you can get the academy at even a better rate than today. So make sure you email me if you have the toolkit. And Tori, maybe you could pop my email into the chat, heather@professораustin.com. Okay, I'm not done with bonuses, you guys. Okay, the next bonus is private group coaching sessions on Zoom with me and my team. Coaching calls with lifetime replay access. So we have a 12-week spring intensive that we do in the academy, and we also have a 12-week fall intensive that we do. You're welcome to attend these calls and ask questions. We have additional lectures that we provide inside of those calls, and we kind of work together to help you land that dream job offer. Okay, I have 3 more bonuses. You guys are not going to believe this. Okay, another bonus that we have inside of World Class Career Academy is a bonus course, How to Land a Job at Amazon. If you guys do not yet know who Holly Lee is, she is another one of my career coach friends. I love her to death. She was so gracious to come and host a course inside of the academy where you learn how to land a job at Amazon. So it's specific tools and resources and guidance on specifically that. So she is a guest expert. She was an ex-global recruiter and trainer at Amazon, Google, and Facebook. So she understands top tech really, really well. The other person that understands top tech, if you guys do not know Jeff Sipe, he is another one of my really good career coach friends. He has so graciously lended his time to do a course on how to land a job at Google. So he's actually a former Google technical recruiter. Currently, he is an interview and negotiation coach. He has come into the academy and he hosts a course, How to Land a Job at Google. So if you guys have any specific needs, such as Amazon, Google, or top tech, these 2 people will help you get there. Now, fast action bonus, the first 5 people to sign up for this one-time special for the Academy will receive a career portfolio audit. This is a detailed review of your resume, your cover letter, and your LinkedIn profile. So all of these combined, okay? Let me just share with you guys, and by the way, that's the first 5. This will be gone before the day. So if you want to get in, Tori has popped the link for you. I will also pop the link and I'm going to pin it to the top so that you guys can grab that if you are interested in enrolling. I highly recommend, if you're feeling stuck at all and you need someone to help you get the fire under you to make it happen, then definitely jump in. The first 5 people, let me replace that pin, to enroll will receive access to a free career portfolio audit. Now, let me share with you guys really quickly just some of the individuals that have used these career portfolio audits before. David actually landed a position in a new industry with a biotech company fighting to end the COVID pandemic. So he says, I'm reaching out to let you know your advice, help and wisdom paid off. He says this past week, oh, by the way, I didn't even read the first part of his message. Let me hurry and read that. He had been on the hunt for a job for 13 months. So COVID actually took his job. He'd been looking for a position for 13 months. He said, I stopped counting how many times I have been ghosted and told, thank you for applying, but we've decided to go with another candidate. He said, well, he attended my show, came, got a review, all that good stuff. He said, I'm reaching out to let you know that your great advice and help paid off. He says, this past week, I landed a wonderful new position. COVID may have taken my last one. He said, but it also provided a new one. I am now working for a biotech company fighting to end the pandemic. He goes on to say, I now make more than I thought was possible, all while doing something that helps others, which is something he is told he excels at. Let me share with you guys what happened with Kenya. So Kenya, this shows the power of putting into practice all the resources inside of the academy. Okay. So her entire department was eliminated because of COVID. And she was forced to look for another position. She joined World Class Career Academy for all the additional training, resume prep, creating a cover letter, interview techniques, all that good stuff. She said that she jumped into Resume Reinvented, got her resume all squared away. started submitting it. She's like, immediately she was receiving calls for interviews. And by the way, this is all in, if you guys read this screenshot here, she says, however, when she was in the interview, she actually wasn't getting callbacks at first. Then she's like, well, wait a second. I know Heather has an interview course in there as well. So she's like, what? I can't believe I didn't go look at it before. She jumps in, goes, looks at the interview intelligence. She says before she knew it, she was getting second and third callbacks. She says 5 days after her third interview, she received a job offer for a position that allows her to stay at home, which is something that she's wanted to do. And it's something that she's passionate about. And she says it was a huge increase in salary. Okay. So you guys, here's the thing. No more guessing or trying to figure out what all those hiring officials and recruiters are really looking for, okay? It's your time to experience a system that helps you land that dream job offer, a strategy that helps you stand out from everyone else, a strategy that gives you more confidence, that helps you properly sell yourself. It's your time to have success of career guidance, of a comprehensive step-by-step system that works. Okay. So you're probably wondering, Heather, what's the investment to join this program? So your investment today is just $97 and 5 monthly payments to follow, or you can do one payment of just $497. Now keep in mind, if you decide to do the one payment, you actually save close to maybe $85 for the one payment offer. This is a one-time offer, and this ends on Thursday, February 10th, okay? So if you have been thinking about the Academy, or if what you feel like you've gotten here today, you could capitalize on that even more and learn even more strategies so that you're not waiting and sifting through applications in 6 months or even 3 months, okay? We don't want you to be in the same situation that you are in today in 6 months or a year or whatever that might be. We want you to be able to take action right away. And just like all these amazing folks that I've shared their story with, be well on your way to a life-changing job opportunity. Now, here's the thing. You could take a college course and it would probably cost you anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000. You could hire me as your one-on-one coach, and depending on how many weeks we work together and your certain situation, it could cost you anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000. But if you join us now, the total value of all the coaching, the trainings, the templates, the community, the resources, everything inside of the Academy is worth more than $5,000. But of course, your investment is $497 today, or just 6 monthly payments of $97. So you guys, this is a steal of a deal for a career coaching program from an expert like me, from other career experts, from professional career coaches and other resume writers and everyone on my team, that we're coming together to help you become one of our success stories. And by the way, let me mention this. I didn't even have time to put in all the new testimonials that we got this week. So we held a coaching call for our Academy students on, it's Monday, last week. And 3 folks in the call, they were like, hey, I'm just coming to the call to tell you I landed my new job and blah, 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 and gave us all the details. And then after the call was over, we got 2 more emails from folks in the Academy that were like, Heather, I got to tell you, and all the amazing details of their new job opportunity. And by the way, you guys, these are people that enrolled, I want to say, maybe like November or December of last year. Like, these are like people that are now in their dream job offers, making more than they thought. We take you through the entire process. And I wish I had their testimonials. Next time we do a one-time offer for this program, I'll have them in here, but I didn't even have time to get them in here. So by the way, don't miss out. If you enroll now, you'll save $200 off the full price. This is a one-time special, okay? Remember, we have 5 fast action bonus spots left. Anyone that wants to get in on those 5 spots, they will be gone by today, okay? So make sure you get those in. And by the way, I do want to mention this really quickly. And Tori, I don't know if you mentioned this in the comments already. The fast action bonus, by the way, it's for pay in full folks, okay? That fast action bonus, if someone just from the street or online wants me to do that service is at least $500 service. The payment plan, folks, I appreciate a good payment plan, because when I invest in coaching, sometimes I have to do a payment plan, and that's okay. But the fast action bonus is available to pay in full folks, okay? That's another bonus for doing pay in full. So all you need to do, heatheraustin.online/academy to get started. You'll be able to read through basically everything we talked about today. You'll also have the link to today's replay at the top of that page. Okay, so you'll be able to watch the replay there. The final step is to enter secure checkout. You can use PayPal or a credit card, heatheraustin.online/academy. I know that's a strange, heatheraustin.com was not available. So we have heatheraustin.online/academy. Let me share with you guys what happened with Scott. If you haven't heard Scott's story before, he actually increased his base pay by 30% and received a 15% annual bonus. So he said before joining the academy, and this is one of the messages, we got last year, he said, last year. He said before joining World Class Career Academy, he'd been applying for jobs for a couple months. He applied to at least 40 positions, okay? 40. He only had a couple of interviews. He said, in reality, I was getting nowhere with my job search. He joined the academy. He took a month to kind of get everything spruced up, okay? Update his resume, his cover letter, his LinkedIn profile. He said on the first day back he took that month off to get everything ready. On the first day back, he applied to 3 positions, got 2 interviews with them right away, and then ultimately landed a position with the 3rd company, okay? So that just shows the focus that he had to fix all of his career portfolio documents, to really hone in on the jobs that he should apply for. So rather than spending all that time and that energy applying for 40 positions, he applied for 3. He actually got job interviews with all 3 of them right away, and then he took the offer with the 3rd company. But here's the cool thing. He ended up making more. He ended up getting an amazing bonus, and he ended up working remotely, okay? And this is all with a startup in San Francisco. So amazing stuff is happening, you guys. Just to recap, here's what's inside the academy. 10 modules with over 40 lessons, fast action bonus, your bonus private group coaching with me and my team, your bonus course, LinkedIn Profile Perfection, Career Advancement Toolkit is another bonus. The 2 newest bonuses that we've added to the academy, how to land a job at Amazon and how to land a job at Google, which, by the way, you guys, these 2 career experts are amazing individuals. You're not going to want to miss what they have to teach you about this. Workbooks, checklists, templates, lifetime access to the course, private members only community, okay? You guys get all of this for just $497 or 6 monthly payments of $97. This is a steal of a deal. Let me share with you guys a couple more success stories. Devin grew his connections on LinkedIn, and he is now helping his friends and family members get out of dead-end jobs. He says, World Class Career Academy helped me in so many ways. He said, there are so many programs out there. I've purchased most of them. None of them quite match this one. And Heather's positive attitude and attention given to her members, even the Facebook group consists of supporting members willing to help and support each other. He goes on to say, so thank you, Heather, for an outstanding program, and thank you, everyone in the group. So again, you guys, all you need to do is go to heatheraustin.online/academy. By the way, we still have profile reviews, and I'll get to those in just a second. Here's what happened with Lynn. She landed her dream job, even though it wasn't even posted. So she says, I'd love to let you know that I just landed my dream job through referral using your networking tips. She said, surprisingly, this position was not even posted on Indeed or LinkedIn. She's like, I start my first day in 2 weeks. Thank you for all the helpful tips and advice. So she's also an Academy member. Here's what happened with Jurasom, who's another Academy member, landed an operations manager position making $20,000 more than the current salary, okay? So I was able to negotiate an operations manager position making $20K more than my current salary. Here's what happened with Anna. Anna received a job offer even with a 15-month unemployment gap. So I know a lot of you reached out that have gaps in employment. This stuff is possible if you follow a plan and you have your goals in mind and you have a step-by-step system that walks you through this. It can happen in no time. Because, by the way, I know you don't want to be where you're at in 6 months, okay? Here's what happened with Terry. He says, I wanted to take you a moment to thank you for your excellent coaching videos and self-help program package. He said, your guidance has helped me polish up my LinkedIn, rev up my resume, helped me ace the interview to get a fabulous job offer for a position that I believe I will truly enjoy. He says, and I'm a 57-year-old fossil who is 10 years out of the job search market. So again, if you're like Heather, and I know I heard this from a lot of you as well, I haven't searched for a job for a really long time. Like, I don't even know where to start. This program will help you get up and running in no time. Here's what happened with Alex. If you guys haven't ever met Alex before, he's another Academy member. He says, I have great news to tell you. My temporary contract turned into a permanent position. I got the job offer this afternoon and I'm so happy. He said, I must be doing all the things right. And I love what he said. He says, sometimes I think that one just needs to persevere. It may be tough and uncertain, but one needs to believe in himself or herself. This is a happy ending to my job search. My advice to all the others, do not give up and keep your network alive. So he actually took the power of networking, and again, those tips that I teach on networking, put them into play, landed his temporary position, which then turned into a permanent position. One last story with you guys. Lisa, if you have not yet ever heard me talk about Lisa before, she's actually a registered nurse. And here's the crazy thing. She's a registered nurse working 100% remotely from home. Like, what? How amazing is that? She could use her skills and still do what she's doing, but be at home. I know there's a lot of people in the medical industry, because I hear from you that you're just burned out. Well, guess what? There are options for you. So here's what happened with Lisa. I received and accepted an offer for a new position this past Friday. I am just thrilled. She applied last Monday, got the call and offer on Friday, you guys. So this is how fast this is happening. She says, it's totally amazing because although I didn't have my resume finished the way I wanted, she used the unique identifier, which again is a technique I teach in the Academy, and the professional course competency section. And she bolded what she wanted to stand out. She submitted her resume, got the interview, got the offer in less than a week. So you guys, this stuff is totally doable. heatheraustin.online/academy. Make sure you jump over there to get started. Fast action bonuses will be gone by today. There's 5 of them. Make sure if you guys are interested in the program, this will only be available for a couple days. Okay. This webinar, you guys love learning about LinkedIn at the beginning of the year. So I always do this webinar around this time of year. But I also wanted to give you guys a special offer for the Academy if you want to jump in and join us. So I'm going to take some time to answer questions. I also have profile reviews. So profile reviews, you guys, are like, these are one of my favorite things to do. So make sure you tune into those. Let me go ahead and just see. I'm going to look at the chat really quick, Tori, and any other areas any spots you want me to jump into or questions that are maybe standing out that you think we can answer. Matt says, that's cheap. Great deal. I don't know if I want the word cheap associated with my program, Matt, but it is a great deal. Yes. Yeah, we are working on... for anyone that purchased the toolkit, yes, because we have thousands and thousands of people that have access to the toolkit. If you have already purchased the toolkit, send me an email at Heather at, what's my email address? Heather at professораustin.com, and we will get a coupon code for you. We'll do that within the next, after today finishes. I probably should have had that ready. I have it ready, but I just can't remember off the top of my head. So I'll need to jump in and look at that. Yes, I would love to know too, if you guys have not yet shared your biggest takeaway, make sure you pop that into the chat. Okay, this is so good. Susan asked a question. How do I get my own logo into the experience section next to my current position? Okay, so what you have to make sure that you do to get your own logo is you have to have a business page already, and then you have to actually upload your logo. So make sure you have done that. Once you see your logo, your business page, it will show you where to upload the logo. That's a good question. I get that question a lot. Let's see. Oh, awesome. David's here. So happy to see you in the chat, David. David says, already a member of your WCCA and love it. Do you have a resume cover letter example for internships asking for my son who's graduating college? Awesome. David, what I would recommend that you do is use for him, the basic resume template that's in there. So that's mainly going to be for someone just getting out of college. Let me also recommend this though, too. Anyone that is like a new graduate, you're going to structure your resume just a little bit where you're going to list your education first. So you're going to want to list that at the top under your professional summary, and then you'll list work experience because you probably don't have a lot. So you have to really focus on your academic coursework. Maybe you've had volunteer work. You have to focus on that and then follow with it work experience. Yes. Awesome. Okay. Let me see. I just turned the slides off for a second, you guys. I don't think there's anything else that we need to look at when it comes to the slides. I do want to share my screen though, and so we can go through some of these LinkedIn profile reviews. I just wanted to take a second to see. I'll pop up. Let me do this. Okay, that's my LinkedIn page. And let me show you this really quick, you guys. And I'm going to, this is the page that you'll go to actually register for World Class Career Academy. I'm going to take my screen off for just a second and then just kind of glance through the page so you guys can see the whole thing. What you'll do at the very top, you'll see it says watch the LinkedIn workshop replay. That's where the replay is going to be hosted. Okay. So if you want to jump in and there is something, I don't think you guys can see my mouse, but if there's something that you want to come back and revisit because we covered a lot today, make sure you click on that link. Watch the LinkedIn workshop replay. That's going to take you to the workshop. Okay. You'll be able to read through all the amazing stories. I didn't even share most of these stories with you today, but you'll be able to read through most of the amazing stories, get an idea of what's inside of the academy, all that good stuff. So make sure you take a look at that page. And then I'm going to pop back over to my LinkedIn page really quick. And then let me activate my video again. There I am. So take a look at that if you want to get started. And I highly recommend that you do it. It will be well worth it. Okay. Let's go. Let's do profile reviews. So the first one, I have a few, and I don't know if we're going to get to all of them. Of course, this is my profile. I wanted to show you a couple of things if we have time here in a second. But this individual, Frank, let me get my glasses on. I'm not sure if Frank's here today. I know a lot of you had mentioned that you couldn't be on the actual call today, which is totally fine. That's why we give you the replay. And Frank, I can't remember if you were one of them. If not, and if you're here, we're happy to have you. If not, and you're watching the replay, that's fine as well. We just want to make sure that other people can learn from this too. So Frank submitted his profile. I'm going to just go through so that you guys can kind of see what it looks like. And I'm going to just go from like top to bottom with some suggestions. Okay. So the very first thing I would love to see on Frank's profile is a background photo. We didn't even talk about background photos today, you guys, or cover photos, but I highly recommend them. There are free resources. I actually teach this in the academy where you can get free photos to upload to your profile. There's even resources out there that will allow you to kind of design your own. So I would definitely get a background photo. Now, here's what I want to mention. I love that your name, I can see your name, looks great. On the title, I want the title to be a little bit more specific. You know what, you guys, let me zoom in on this page just a little bit so you guys can see it. Is that better? You can see it a little bit better. And let me know if this is helpful. Type into the chat if you're excited for these reviews. Just type yes in the chat. Okay, so what I would love to see with Frank's, and by the way, profile photo looks good. He's smiling. There's nothing distracting. He's wearing a nice collared shirt. There's nothing you need to change about the profile photo. It looks fantastic. Headline, on the other hand, I want to see exactly, like you're saying, experienced, outgoing, and resourceful. I want your title first. So if you guys think back to the slides that I shared earlier, where, let me see if I can jump into those examples, where I'm actually sharing with you, excuse me, I'm sharing with you let me get to this really quick so I can show you that. Notice how I list the position first. That's what I want to see in yours. I want the position to come first. Then I want you to say specializing in, or what I'd really love to see, Frank, is like, excuse me, you guys, let me hurry and do a quick cough. I would love to see, Frank, on your profile, like words that relate exactly to what you do. So if I'm going to pick out the title, it says absence manager, resourceful absence manager. I don't know what an absence manager is. I would have to like dig more to figure that out. Like, is there another title that's very widely known? That's what I would want to see. Okay, put that first. Then give us like some more of your like skills that relate to the position. Okay. Then what you could do is the words like ongoing and resourceful and effective customer support. I would love to see that. Sorry, let me share the profile again. I would love to see that in your about section. Okay. In terms of the about section, it's way too short for me. I want to see this with a little bit more detail. So again, I do like that you're sharing in first person. You said, I've been fortunate to have over 10 years of experience in absent management involving short-term disability and leave of absence. Okay, I know what you're saying now with absence manager. Is that what they use? Is that the word that the industry calls it? If it's not, change it to the word that the industry calls it. And that's what I want at the front of your headline. I love how you're talking about it's been a rewarding experience, yada, yada, yada. I would almost want to have this be your second paragraph. And then I want you to talk about your passion, your drive, yada, yada, yada for absence manager. Okay. If that makes sense. And then of course, make sure if that's the position you're going for, or that's the industry you want to be in, make sure that's what you're speaking to. Okay. And you're including all those keywords in there. Okay, experience here. I love that you've listed the positions, and I can see if I'm looking at the experience, I'm like, oh yeah, I got some really great experience. This is awesome. But what I don't see here, Frank, is I don't see any description about your job. So I want to see something here. Okay, so let me just jump over. I'm going to zoom in on my profile just a little bit. And again, this is the back end of my profile. So you guys you don't see what I see, but I want to show you the experience really quick. Notice in the experience section, I have a couple of paragraphs of information. So Frank, I want to see that from you. I want to see you talk about these positions a little bit more. You don't have to like write a novel, but give us like something about these positions. And you could even put, if you're comfortable putting a couple bullet points, you can. I like to keep it in paragraph format on the experience section. But again, that's my personal preference. And that's what I teach my clients and my students. So I almost wonder if you updated your profile a while back, because you have from Aetna, you have some stuff here. You have a sentence. I want to see that on all these positions. And I would even say, give us like some of your greatest achievements, okay? And let me see that too in your about section. Like if you have, let's say I'm a recruiter and I'm going to spend 30 seconds on your profile or a minute on your profile. What would you want me to know about you to say, hey, I want to bring Frank in for an interview. He sounds awesome. Like get that into the about section and then include some of your greatest achievements in the experience section. Education looks great. You know, on the education section, you guys, you can include more detail, like GPA. If you're a recent grad and your GPA is pretty good, you could include that. Academic achievements, specific coursework. There's so many things you can include in the education section, and LinkedIn gives you like an exact area that you can edit things. But I think what you have is great. I don't think you need anything more. Skills. So you have customer service, leadership development, and community outreach. What I would make sure here, Frank, are these the skills you want to be known for? Because, for example, if you're an absence manager, is there any skill that relates directly to that? I would want to see that as your top 3 and then work your way from there. I do like you have 17 other skills. Let me just click in here. Microsoft Office, team building, that's fine. Let me make a note really quick, you guys, on like things like management and administration. That is so vague. Like, management of what? Like, I would say, for example, this is a really good one, disability management. That's awesome because that's telling me what type of management that is. I wouldn't have things like leadership, management, administration. I would get very specific with what that is, okay? The more specific you are, the stronger you make your profile. Okay, let me click on back really quick. Okay, languages are awesome. And then interests. I noticed, Frank, you don't have any volunteer experience, and that's okay. I just wanted to point it out in case you had volunteer experience that you could add. That's also a really nice section. And we didn't talk about that because that's not one of the sections that need to be optimized, but it's something that you can add. I would add a couple more interests here, though. I noticed that you have 11. I would add interests like companies that you want to work for, get those in there. Like other industry leading companies. You could even add like thought leaders. So like influencers, like for example, let me jump down to the bottom of my profile. If I look at my interests, like I follow Tony Robbins, right? And then I also follow the main guy at LinkedIn. Okay. So I have some influencers. I have some companies in here. I have some groups. I have some schools. Okay. Mainly the schools I went to. So keep in mind that you can kind of have like a range of interests in your interest section. Okay. Awesome. Let's jump into, I want to go through April's profile. April, let me know if you're here because there's a couple of things I wanted to mention. Yes. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of yeses that this is helpful. Let me know, you guys, what was one thing that you learned from Frank's profile review that you could do different to your profile? Type that into the chat. Yes, Danielle, let me know if you need the page increased even more. Catherine says, I love these LinkedIn profile reviews, whether CV or LinkedIn. Yes, they're so good. I love learning what other people are doing that like I can change and do better, and I'm a very, very visual learner. Awesome. Okay. Let's look at April's profile. So I wanted to mention this thing really quick, and this is where I'm going to kind of take a segue and I'm going to jump into my profile because I wanted to show you guys something. So with April's profile, she doesn't have a headshot. Now, there could be a couple reasons why her headshot's not visible to me, which I wanted to show you guys because I had a lot of questions over the weekend and last week about this, is if I have like a high profile position where the security of my company could be compromised if I show my profile photo and yada, 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 you don't need to show your profile photo. I know I had a huge emphasis at that in the beginning because yes, I want a photo to show up, but April might have just said, hey, I only want my first degree connections to see my photo, because notice her and I are third degree connections, which by the way, you guys, if you are not following me or we are not connected on LinkedIn, jump over and follow me or connect with me on LinkedIn so that we can interact more and we can talk to each other in posts and all that good stuff. But April's a third degree connection. So what she could have done here is just not allowed me, because I'm not first degree, to see her photo, and that's okay. I highly recommend, if you are not in a position that would compromise your company or like there's nothing. I know I had someone even say I have a stalker so I can't like have my photo showing, and that's totally fine. I would say if there is an extreme circumstance like that, don't show it. But if not, show your profile photo. The other thing, again, get a background photo. Let me show you really quickly, you guys, the settings. And I may have to, I'm going to jump to my profile really quick. I'm going to take my video off so that you can see where I'm going here. If I click on the me section at the very top, you guys could see this. Notice that I have a couple of different options here. I can go to my settings and my privacy. Okay. Let me just jump over and actually, you know what? Sorry, I'm going to show you an easier place to get to this because it's actually very easy. At the very top where it says edit, and you can't see my mouse, but top right hand corner, it says edit public profile and URL. That's what you want to click on. And then notice you can control your visibility. This is what I wanted to show you guys. It says edit visibility. This is where you decide who can see your profile. And this is where, and this is what I thought about April at first. I thought, oh, she might just have her profile photo. If you look at the side, she might only have that on for just her first degree connections. But notice that on mine, I have mine set to public. So anyone on the internet anywhere could actually see my profile photo. Some people only want to have their just to LinkedIn members. Some people, and notice as I'm changing, LinkedIn saying, we're updating your photo. Some people only want to have it to their network, and some people only want to have it to first degree connections. So keep that in mind that you can change that. The other thing I wanted to show you really quick, because I had a lot of questions on this, is as I scroll down the page, notice that I can show what I want on LinkedIn. I have all these sections on show, but let's say, for example, I didn't want my background photo to show. I could click on hide. Okay. So again, let me go back to my main screen so you guys can see where that is. It's at the very top. Let me see if I highlight it. There we go. You can kind of see it. Edit public profile and URL. That's where you can see that. Okay. Let me jump to, I wanted to see Frank really quick. Oh, okay. The other thing I wanted to say, you guys, I don't think you can see Frank's URL, the URL to his public profile. You guys need to customize your profile URLs. So for example, mine is, what is mine? Heather.Austin, I think. I don't need that screen, or not Heather. Heather-Austin. Frank is like Frank, his name, and then a number. We don't want to see that number. Like, try and get it to where it's your first and last name in some way. You may or may not have access to do that, but if you can, do your very best to tailor that. Okay. Okay, let's go back to April really quick. So again, I'm just going to say profile photo, background photo. Her title, Manager Operating Roles at BNSF Railways or Railway. I don't mind that, but I want to get, like, April, what I would say for you is you can keep it that way, but I would like to see like a horizontal line and then some of those hard skills that like an employer might be looking for. Okay. So again, back to my, my slide example here. If I say, you know, whatever I am at the railway, I want to see some of those skills added to that. Because what you're doing here is you're using the default headline that LinkedIn is giving you. And you don't have to do that. Like, you got to get much more specific than that. Now, let me address this really quick because I never talked about this when we talked about headlines. She says BNSF Railway. If you guys work for a really well-known company, you can have that in your title. Like, that's totally fine. We have a lot of recruiters that they will recruit talent from someone that works for a well-known company. So again, they're going to be looking at that, even though they can sort by companies you work for. It's just a little bit more of a, hey, this is who I work for. If it's a really well-known company, I think that's totally fine to keep it in the headline, but just give us a little bit more context to that. Okay. Now, here's the reason why I wanted to use April's profile as an example, because can anyone see what she's missing? I want to know. I'm going to let you guys like kind of think about it for a second, but can you see anything that she is missing from her profile? Type in if you guys can notice it. And I'm going to see if I can answer some questions. Tara says, this is extremely helpful. Awesome, Tara. Danielle says, very helpful reviews. Tara says, can you finish your information you were telling us on the larger background photo? I don't know if I know what you mean by a larger background photo. I think probably what you're saying is just what kind of background photo maybe to pop in. Yes, good. You guys are so smart. So glad that you guys are paying attention. I know you're not asleep. Thanks, Donna. So glad that you're here. Ashley says about, Catherine says about, Barbara says about, Viv. Yes. So good. The about or summary. It used to be called summary, but it's the about section now. Yeah, so she is missing her about section. So what she needs to do is go in and actually compose the about section. The other thing I wanted you guys to see here is notice it says that she hasn't posted anything lately. So, or okay, let me reframe that and say there's no activity. Like she's not commenting, she's not liking, she's not posting anything. So we want to see, if I'm a recruiter and I'm looking for people, like one of the things I can see is your activity, and I can be like, oh yeah, they're totally active in their industry and they're making, and some of the times you guys, you're going to feel like this is such a waste of time. I don't want to go on social media and I don't want to post this, but even just like once a week or once every 2 weeks or whatever, like get that activity kind of going. Good job, you guys. Yes. And learning how you got it. Posting something lately. Yes, I love it. Okay, so good. Now on her experience section, I'm going to say the same thing to her that I said to Frank, and that is to give us some detail, because there is nothing in here. I don't know anything that you've done. I don't know anything about you. Like give me, you got to just fill out those sections and you'll be good. Education looks good. Okay, she has something different that we didn't see on Frank's, and that's licenses and certifications. That's awesome. We want to see that. Of course, anytime you go through, I love to see that you went through machine learning and AI foundations with LinkedIn. Anytime that you complete any sort of course on LinkedIn, it will ask you if you want to post it to your profile, and you definitely should do that if it's going to help you in your industry. Volunteering, good. Have some really good volunteer work. I want to just check the dates on these. So she's saying 2016. That's okay. Keep in mind, you guys, when you are listing, I'm going to just jump back up here. When you're listing your work experience, unless it's something that's super noteworthy and whatnot, like it's something that, like, let's say I transitioned, I was in a field for 10 years and then I moved to something else, and that was 10 years ago, and then I'm moving back to my original career. That's when you can list it, but you normally don't want to list anything that's 10 to 15 years old. This applies more so with a resume than it does LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is such a fluid area. Like it's like a web page that you can change and adjust at any time, right? So I would make sure just keep your eyes on your dates to see if you really should be listing those, because if it doesn't really help you in any way, most of the time hiring officials are looking for what you did recently. Okay. Like, for example, on my profile, like there's some university teaching positions that I didn't list because they were right when I was straight out of graduate school, and it was like with a big university, but I didn't list those, and I probably could have, but I just didn't. Or like, when I first graduated, before I went to even graduate school, I worked in the human resource department for the state that I worked in. And that's actually kind of where I started getting into all the career stuff, but I don't have that listed. So because it was so long ago. So keep that in mind as you're listing things. We want your profile to be as relevant as possible. Let me just see. I'm seeing if there's anything else. Transportation, logistics, freight. Again, keep in mind, April, we want to see skills specific to your industry. Okay. Let me just show you guys I want to jump to my skills section because I want to show you how specific I can get about some of my skills. So I'm like showing you guys real time how to edit this. Okay. So let's say I want to add a new skill to my profile. And let's say that I want to, well, hang on. Let me just edit rather than the ad. Let me do an edit. And then let me see if it will let me, add another skill. Okay, that's what I needed to do. If you click on add another skill, it will allow you to like get specific. So I think I showed this to my Academy students, but let's say I wanted to add like data analysis of some sort. Okay. Well, notice if I'm going to add data analysis, notice that I can say statistical data analysis, big data analysis, strategic data analysis, economic, technical, exploratory, large scale. Like there's so many. I don't want to just see data analysis. Like I want to, can you get specific with that? Okay. So when it comes to April's, what my point is, when it comes to April's profile, when she has transportation, logistics, and freight, to me, that's so general. Like what type of transportation, what type of logistics, what type of freight? Like let's get really specific with those skills. And then let's make sure those top 3 skills that are showing, again, let me highlight this section so you guys see where I'm at. Let's make sure that those are what we want to be known for and that a recruiter is going to search to find us by, okay? She has some really good mix of influencers, companies, groups, and schools. I like to see that. There was something else that left my mind. Oh, okay, recommendations. I don't think she had recommendations, but wait, did she? No, she didn't. Okay. So April and Frank, I didn't see any recommendations on your profile. I'm just scrolling through just to make sure. What I want you to do is this is my challenge, and this is my challenge for everyone here today. And it should be for me too, because I don't do this and I know I need to. I want you to reach out to someone in your industry and I want you to ask them for a recommendation. Like go out and say, hey, I'm building my LinkedIn profile and yada, yada, yada. Would you mind giving me a recommendation? You could even mention our time together when we did X, Y, and Z, or you could do, get out there and ask for recommendation. That is my challenge for all of you today. And by the way, if you think you can handle that challenge, type into the chat, yes. Okay. Let me know if you can handle that challenge because everyone should be doing this very regularly. Hey, Tim, I'm so glad you're here. Love to see you in the chat. Okay. I think you guys, we have been online now for close to, what's our time? We've almost been online today for close to 2 hours. This workshop is a one of a kind. You won't get anything like this anywhere else. If you need to watch the replay, make sure you jump in. The replay is only available for a couple of days, but I highly recommend you go through the entire section that we talked about in the beginning, where we talked about the 5 steps to build a LinkedIn profile that will increase your salary. Okay. This was such an action-packed training. Make sure you watch the training if you missed us in the beginning because it was full of some amazing tips for you. We also had an offer for World Class Career Academy. If you have not yet signed up for that program, make sure you get in. We had a fast action bonus for the first 5 people that enroll, receive a free career portfolio audit. That's their LinkedIn profile, their resume, their cover letter. That values at over $500, you guys. So again, make sure if you are not enrolled, jump into heatheraustin.online/academy. We also did some awesome profile reviews. And then I even went real time into LinkedIn to show you some really good action steps you could take in your profile. So keep in mind, you'll have access to this until Thursday. Make sure you watch the replay. I know we had a lot of amazing questions, a lot of amazing comments in the chat. Thanks you guys so much for joining me. Thank you, Tori. I love you for being in the chat, sifting through all the comments and the questions. Again, heatheraustin.online/academy if you guys want to join us in the academy. So happy to see you guys. Keep a watch on my channel, and if you're on my email list for even more amazing trainings and videos and all that good stuff to come. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will be in touch.